back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my co-host Fanta. How you doing, Fanta? Winner of the challenge, season 37 draft.
Thank you.
I'll send you some money later.
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I just got off a long podcast talking about the Challenge 37 and this All-Stars episode, but I'm very excited to hear your thoughts about this particular episode. Unfortunately, Michelle is super busy and is unable to join us today, and it was also her birthday week, so she will hopefully be with us next week. And if we don't end up doing, I didn't talk to you about this, Fanta, but if we don't end up doing part one of the reunion next week, how would you feel about just doing a two-parter the week after? So we'll have like a freebie on Wednesday kind of week. Does that feels good to me? No? What do you think? I just think it's like half of a reunion. Like, do we care? So we might as well just do the whole thing, right? Instead of having like...
You know how I feel about the reunions.
Right. Well, maybe I'll watch it. Well, I don't know. That's what I was thinking, is like just having a two-parter the week after. But we'll see how we feel anyways, if we even want to talk about it at all. Who knows? Who knows? We do have Sophie, who's been counting the clock. Finally, you are here. Yes, finally, we are here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Andre, the fabulous Fance. Yes, Fanta is here.
Sometimes people call me Fance. So
Fance? I like calling you Fancy or Fancy Pansies.
Fancy's also a good one.
You got the 2-time draft champion Fanta on here. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I wanted to say something, but I couldn't say anything because, just so you're aware, that Fanta has not yet watched the Survivor finale. So no Survivor spoilers here at all. We're just keeping this a challenge-only podcast tonight.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Of course. Hello, Justin. Thanks for being here as well. You should drink during the reunion whenever they show a secret romance. So there have been some people that have suggested some things. Actually, I should pull it up and find it, of what we could do for the reunion. Maybe I'll find it and then we'll talk about it at the end, just to make the reunion a little bit more fun. Remind me if I don't remember myself.
Okay.
Andre says Chantele is a total pro. Oh, saw her doing Survivor recaps last night. Yes. All-Star recaps a couple hours ago. Yes. Now another one. Yes. It's true. I do it all. And I'm thinking of bringing Selling Tampa onto the docket. Do you watch any Netflix reality stuff? Fanta.
Do I? No, a lot of my friends have been trying to get me to watch Selling Sunset. And I think that's where I draw the line.
Well, Selling Tampa is by the same creators of Selling Sunset, but it's with an all-Black female real estate agency in Tampa. So...
you know what? I think I'll probably watch that with my mom this holiday, because I feel
that's fun. Oh my God. I
would love that.
I would love to. You should be doing recaps with your mom, because I remember when they were watching The Masked Singer, and like you retelling their watching experience was hilarious in itself. So that could be a money-making idea.
Yeah, my parents are literally counting down the days until we can watch The Masked Singer together.
So you haven't even seen this season's good too.
No, we're gonna wait. We were like, we'll watch it together.
Wow. I didn't watch last season, but I know who won. Did you watch last season as well or no?
No, we're literally gonna do like
both. What a lovely family tradition of like The Masked Singer at Christmas time. That's amazing. Holiday Masked Singer.
As of last year, but we do it.
I mean, it has to start as a tradition somewhere, right? Ugh, but then Andre's coming in with the facts. Francis All-Star team got decimated. Yes. Do you know what? I keep on forgetting. I'm sorry, Fanta. I know you got mad at me last time, but I still haven't made my tier for this season. I won't end up making it till the end because I keep on thinking that I have it done. But it's always because I have a reality problem. I'm like, oh yeah, I know I've already done that. And I'm like, oh wait, no, I haven't done it yet. So I will 100% have it done by next week.
I'll believe it when I see it.
And I was actually planning on doing it today before we came on, but then the last podcast went way later, so I basically just hopped onto this one. So I'm sorry. Okay, so the finale made me a Tori fan, but I'll start not to like her again after the first episode next season. Agreed, Justin, agreed. She's very easy to not like again. Do we think if Fessy and Ashley didn't get kicked off during the regular challenge season, that season 37 finale would have looked totally different?
I don't think totally different. I don't think Fessy would have made the final, if I'm honest. Just now with the skulls change, like the eliminations in the main season of the challenge were really they really were shining, and they just were more complex, and Fessy can't win any type of elimination unless it's a hall brawl. So,
well, that's all we've seen him do is that type of elimination. So,
yeah.
And he doesn't win tons of dailies, so that he's not that well rounded.
He's not at all. And I think that even thinking about the challenge between Josh versus Kyle, I don't think Fessy could have won something like that. He's just too big. He's just not as agile. I think that, or even Rocket Run, or anything that has to do with puzzles.
Rocket Run, I don't think he'd be good at.
There's no way. I just think as long as they keep these types of eliminations throughout the upcoming seasons, I think we're gonna see Fessy getting sent home.
I do think Ashley would have gotten to the final, and I think she could have potentially have. Well, if it was the same deal where the losing cell that got dismantled gets to pick the person that they're running with, then maybe not. But if Ashley was able to run with CT, I think that they would have won. And I agree with you about the Fessy stuff. I am going to start watching Real Housewives of Miami tomorrow. So if it's really good, I will cover it myself. I'll do it by myself. Are you guys going to be doing The Amazing Race when it comes out? And we also have a Celebrity Big Brother. Yes and yes. Do you watch Celebrity Big Brother, Fanta?
No, but I would, depending on who's in the cast.
In the house, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just good to know, because it's 3 weeks, but it's all the time. And so having someone pop on every once in a while is usually helpful for when it's such a fast-paced schedule. Mm-hmm. Hi, Dolores. Yes, I am having a great weekend so far. It's Friday, and this is the weekend before Christmas, which is really weird. It doesn't feel like Christmas. We're about to go back into kind of some sort of lockdown here in Ontario, and it's who cares about what day it is anymore, right? I can't do anything fun. It just sucks.
It does suck.
It really, I don't know if you've experienced it as bad as it has been in Toronto, but I've literally stayed at home for the better part of 2 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's weird for me. I'm a social person.
Yeah. It's not as bad here, but the thing is our population isn't as big as Toronto. If it was, we would be in the same boat. It's just because Ontario
is already sparse. Mm-hmm.
Ontario has a massive, the biggest population amongst the biggest population. And Quebec is the Wild West. So they just do whatever the hell they want there. But yeah. But we got basically New Year's Eve got canceled for us. They were no events, no nothing. So I've talked to a friend who was I was supposed to work an event that night, and that was a guaranteed $2,000 for me, but now I'm not going to. So
I was before, I just looked at it today. I was before I looked at what the news had said, I was oh, I haven't done anything for New Year's in a while. And I usually would be flying. And so I'd be in Jamaica for New Year's, or I'd be somewhere tropical. And then I was well, I'm going to be here. Maybe I can do something. And then it's and then everything shut down at 11 p.m. I'm oh, boo. But Dolores, I'm going to have a great weekend. Thank you for asking. Thank you. Michelle's All-Stars team is a lot better than the regular challenge season. Yes, she definitely drafted so far quite well from how the season has been looking so far. Fessy was good at puzzles in Total Madness and Double Agents. I just don't remember his performances. Double Agents, wasn't it mostly Anissa that was the puzzle part of their team?
Yeah, I don't really remember Fessy being like a puzzle star, but
I don't even remember him on Total Madness barely.
we pushed him out of our minds.
Was he like an active force? We're just like, no. I think Ashley would have won if she didn't get kicked off instead of Casey. I think it's possible, but with that twist with the loser that gets to pick their partner, that might have messed things up for. I mean, would you think that Ashley and Kyle could have won against Casey versus CT?
It's possible. I mean, I think that like Ashley could be like a pretty like powerful motivator for Kyle. I don't know. It could really go either way. Like, it's so tough to say. I wish she never got kicked off.
Me too. Me too. Hi, King Cash. With the call out switch, nobody would have called in Fessy. Or they would have maybe, yeah, maybe not. Would he have just coasted like CT? Ugh, eye roll. Eye roll. Emmy wouldn't have made the finals if Ashley was still there. I don't know for sure.
Tough to say.
Like maybe it would have been like maybe Casey wouldn't have. Like I don't know who people would have been more scared of because Tori has size on Casey. Casey, yeah, she's really great at everything, but like she doesn't had to go and do the only one challenge that they had where they were like kind of head to head scrapping. So I don't know if people would be. I think people might be more scared of a physical elimination against Tori, and maybe it would have been Casey that went down and didn't come out against Emmy.
Yeah,
It would be whoever CT said to do, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
CT and Casey were kind of winning, giving second and third place a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, I think that they had to do that for their future life in the game because they already were the number one. We talked about this in the reality pop draft or podcast that I just did about the fact that they were our first female and male picks. And so I think that with them having that big, like already we know that they're going to be the best. The people that are playing the game with them probably have an idea that they're going to be the people to beat. And so knowing that if they were to win, they still would get money being with them, I think it makes them less of a target in the future. You think? No? You're like, meh, whatever.
I would agree with that.
Hi, Speaking the Truth. So Speaking the Truth says, quick question. What do you think would have been better this season's format with last season's final or last season's format with this season's final? And do y'all think CT still wins? Yes, I think CT still wins. I would have I would prefer bits and pieces of both finals. You know what I mean? Like I would have loved to have the food portion in this final. I don't particularly like that they were in cells and then they went to pairs.
Yeah, I hate that. The more time that I've had to like think about it, I'm like, ooh, I hated that. I would have preferred like the cell twist, like or the cell format didn't really do it for me, to be completely honest. Like I was like, I was like counting down the minutes for it to be over.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably say like this season's format with last season's final because Casey wouldn't have won. I really thought about it like over the past couple of days and I've been like, Amber deserved that win. She did. That's absolutely undeniable because that was a much more difficult final than this year. And
she consistently had to be in front. She had to keep her winning, her lead. She had to stay doing well at everything, being first at every checkpoint. Casey was last at every checkpoint and then got a layup to the end.
Exactly. So it's like it really just like makes you like step back and you go like, wow, like Amber like crushed that final. She crushed it. Like,
yeah,
that was a hard final. That was like a real final. This one was kind of like.
So, but I do think CT still wins both, but no matter how you shake this up. He didn't have anybody really physically, like, well-rounded enough of a competitor to go against him. All right, so before I get to all the rest of these comments, let's get into this episode. The beginning of All-Stars season episode 6. We have my favorite part of the episode was seeing Tech, Nehemiah, and Latarian doing the Running Man celebrating, and then like Melinda just kind of like on the outside, like just celebrating with them while they're all like just like getting hype doing the Running Man. Weren't you loving it, or am I just in my own world?
I love that. I love the, like, what's it called? The King's Palace. Like, I just love that. I love that alliance.
Me too.
I find it to just be like more fun and interesting. Like, it's just more exciting to root for them.
Exactly. It's like, I know that we were talking about it also a little bit earlier about how I also like a lot of people on the other side, and like I don't really want anybody to go, but I am rooting for like the people from the King's Palace, or the 4 horsemen, or the 3 kings and the queen. I don't know. I think that's on switching around their name, but we'll call it the King's Palace. I just want them to do well, because it seems like the other side, they always do well, right? They always have the numbers. They always have the alliance. Like, these guys coming together, like they are a true underdog team, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to see them do well.
Same. I 100% agree.
So Brad is realizing that he's not on the same side as Nehemiah. And I'm like, I just wonder why they might not be having a little bit of a conversation, you know? Like, if one of my friends was on the opposite side of an alliance, I'd be like, hey, I'll protect you against my people. You protect me against your people. And we'll just try to see if we can get each other to the end while working our sides. That's what I would do. So I'm wondering why they haven't done this. You felt the same, it seems.
Yes. I was, and I thought that like when Nehemiah brought that up, I was like, ooh, they're going to have like talk this episode. And they didn't. And I was like really disappointed, because I agree. I think like if you're friends, be like, hey, listen. And that makes it more interesting too. Like, hey, listen, we're friends. We're on opposite sides, but like, let's like,
I got
not
you.
come after each other. But I was like, why didn't you guys have that conversation?
I think it must be because both of them are not that strategically savvy. And I don't know if they would be able to protect the other person without it being obvious. That must be it. Like, they're not savvy necessarily at like steering the vote in a different direction and like, you know, pushing it towards somebody else without people being like, why? Like, do you have something going on with Nehemiah? You know, and being like, or why? Do you have something going on with Brad? So maybe that.
Brad's not, I mean, that's the thing. Brad's not a strategy guy. I think like Nehemiah a little bit more, but Brad is just very like laser focused on like
beady-eyed.
Yeah, the no blinks approach.
So Melinda, I love also how Melinda is like feeling so supported by those 3 men, and just saying that like it doesn't matter, like these guys are like, they're rooting for me, they're protecting me, like I'm gonna go down with this crew, like I'm part of the King's Palace, I want to go down with them. I love that, because she's usually the player that people don't necessarily want on their team, just because doesn't usually perform very well, and she was in like her relationship with Danny, and like she just wasn't like a competitor, really. You just didn't want to play with her necessarily. But like the fact that she feels safe with these guys on the season, and she won her first elimination, and I just like seeing a challenger kind of being birthed, like emerging from her.
Yeah, I agreed. I was kind of like, oh wait, like, because before when I got picked for her like, I was like, oh no, Melinda's gonna like really suck and like all of the stuff. But I was like, I mean, she didn't really, I guess, technically win that elimination, but still, like, she was ready to do it. Like, she was ready to perform, which we didn't see, 15 years ago or however
and she still did it. Like, she still ran back and forth. So it wasn't at full speed, obviously, but like she still completed it, which is also like good on you.
Of course.
So I'm liking Melinda a lot this season, and I'm actually very happy that she came back. Like, before I was like, but now I'm like, I like her here.
Me too. And I know that we heard there was like a Latarian and Melinda hookup, so I'm like wondering when we're gonna see that because this is quite rude. I was like, is it this episode? I want to see them smooching.
I know. I
Have they
know.
shown any hookups yet?
No hookups. But like nobody's getting any points really this season so far. Just Fanta not pay the bill. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Then we see Tyler starting to have some confessionals, talking about how he's won 2 challenge seasons back to back, and he's speaking with Janelle, who is like, "Oh, Janelle's part of this season. Okay, we finally see her on our screen. Shocker."
Oh my god, no.
Did you notice though when he was talking to Janelle and then it started raining and then he looks this way, he makes complete eye contact with the camera and he's like, oh, like it's like he didn't realize the camera was there. I thought it was so funny that he like totally like forgot about the camera. So when I saw that though, I was like, we're seeing the Tyler Janelle stuff. They're going to be broken up or they're both going down or going down against each other. I was like, they don't show us extraneous information on Allstars. Like the people that are involved in the episode, they show us. And so I'm like, oh boy. So they played one of my all-time favorite songs at this point. I don't want to be a player no more. I'm not a player. I just crush a lot. I used to listen to the song in high school, guys. And I remember I had this crush on this guy, Pressy. And like, we were at like this like all ages nightclub. And I was like dancing with him to the song. Player no more. I'm not a player. Anyways, it's was my favorite song when I was like 17. Hilarious. Janae, though, I thought was also a funny moment, I guess character building when she was trying to jump on the floaty. And she had Jasmine and Ayanna kind of cheering her on.
Oh my god.
Is it difficult? Because I feel like Jasmine was giving her the correct instruction and she was not handling that instruction very well. How do you feel about her attempt to mount this this floaty?
You gotta be careful with floaties, man. You have to be super careful. I know this because I have quite a few. I am a floaty enthusiast. I have quite a few floaties in my club, and they're very.
What floaties do you have?
I have a popsicle, and I have the Explorer 200, which is like a full boat, and it comes with paddles.
Are we doing like the challenge type thing sometime like that we organize somewhere in BC? Like,
oh my gosh. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll think about this. Okay. And that's it?
Yeah, there's some that have like died. The avocado, rest in peace. What else did I have? I did actually have 2 Explorer 200s, avocado, popsicle, Swan, rest in peace.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like I haven't had like a summer in 2 years, but like I just want to be on a floaty right now. Like I would give anything to be on a floaty.
Oh, I know.
I know. And I just have 6 months of winter left before that's even an option. Unless I go away. Maybe I'll go away. I'll be faster. I thought this next moment was cute, but also kiss the death moment. What do you think it was? Like kiss the death moment?
What, like after Tyler and Janelle were talking on the couch?
Yeah.
The rain?
The kiss the death moment.
I don't know. I'm not sure what happened next. The rain?
No. Kendal on a Skype call with Coach Cooper, her son, teaching her how to hold her breath and swim underwater, and talking to her other children and her husband. I was like, oh boy, either she's losing or she's winning, but this is going to be about her. So I got worried for her. Now that you know what I was talking about, were you worried for her when you saw Coach Kendal giving her swimming advice?
Yeah. I did. I was like, oh, she's going in for sure.
Yeah. Yes. So we have the daily, and TJ asked everybody to get into pairs. So how did you like the fact that he just says get into pairs without any sort of like explanation of what was happening or anything like that, or the spoiler of it all, the fact that they were going to be in these partnerships for the rest of the season.
Ugh. I mean, I feel like most people like the partnerships were good, of course, except for Jasmine and Tyler. I felt so bad for Tyler, like this whole episode. I feel
And
like
he's like standing there with like Casey, and then Cahutta just like walks over and just takes Casey away, and she's like, "Yeah, I gotta go," and like he's
well,
like,
it was kind of like more like Casey was like, "Bye." To Tyler, which I was like, oof, that is so cold. Like the look on Tyler's face, I was like, I'm heartbroken. That was so sad.
but I guess he didn't really ask her to be his partner, and so like it was like it's kind of like dating. You're dating someone brand new, and you haven't like made anything official, and then like the school jock comes around and be like, "Hey, you're my girl," and it's like, "Oh, okay," and just like steals it from someone that's put in some work. Poor guy.
Mm.
So yes, you're correct though that poor Tyler now is going to be with Jasmine. Now she's mighty, she has a lot of heart, but I wouldn't want to be her partner at all, ever.
No, I love Jasmine, but they're just like the performance quality just like isn't there. And yeah, that's kind of getting Jasmine is just kind of like a kiss of death.
Well, and it's like I don't know how good I would be at any of these challenges, but I know that I'd be good at some of them. You know what I mean? And so she's consistently low or terrible at all of them. You know what I mean? But I know that like maybe I'm low and terrible at some of them, but I would excel at some of them. And it's just I guess that she doesn't have any like places where she's going to do well, which makes her just like a not ever a good partner to be with. You can't be like, okay, well, like she sucks at swimming, but we know if we got a puzzle, like we're winning this daily.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and also like, yeah, her size as well, I think is pretty prohibitive. Prohibitive. Tiv.
Ting? I don't know.
But yeah, she's just really tiny and like especially after the like trampoline challenge, like a lot of, even Melinda and Casey kind of got rocked on that one, but I would just be so stressed to have Jasmine as a partner. and
I just be
especially
like, oh my God, I have to do it all.
I'd be like, fuck. Like Jody and Brad, I was like, oh my God.
They're just monsters.
Yeah, they're monsters.
So yeah, Jody and Brad are together. Ayanna, I love how much Ayanna is like digmatized by tech. Like it's just so hilarious. She's just like, I just want anything for tech. I want tech. Like I love that she has this 20-year long like crush on him. It's so entertaining.
I'm obsessed. I think it's hysterical.
So funny.
And I love how she was like, he might not look at me, but like I can look at him.
Like, she said, love it.
I love. All right.
I'm solely into it. So they're going to be doing deep dive. And basically, they have to jump off of either a 30-foot cliff or a ledge or a 15-foot ledge. They have to climb down if they choose to into the water. There's 4 buoys. Attached to the buoys, there's some treasure chests. Inside each treasure chest is puzzle pieces. Pull out the puzzle pieces, put it into a little cart, and then roll that cart up to the top and solve a 3D puzzle. So I think it's a great challenge. Like it's like very well rounded, ways to catch up. Like it tests multiple different things. What do you think of the challenge overall?
I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
It was great. It was so well rounded. It was so fun to watch. Again, I love how they're keeping like the heights theme with so many things, and people have to be like, okay, like I loved watching like Darrell go and him just like the look on his face, just being like,
he's always like,
yeah, and it's just like jumping. Like I love watching people jump. I personally would never, but I love watching people do it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know you like water though, no?
I like water. I just don't like the combination of water and heights.
Right.
So that would be something for me where I would definitely be like, no, thank you. I would definitely have to go down to the second ledge, like even the 15-foot. Ooh.
So I don't know if I told you this story before, but on my 21st birthday, we went to the Dominican Republic, and I think it was the day after my actual birthday night. So we were a little bit hungover, and we had to like wake up at like 7 a.m. to go on this excursion. So we're taken by the locals on these jeeps, and we drive out to like basically these waterfalls. And so you climb up these waterfalls. So it's beautiful. Like the first part is like a nice lake, and then you climb up some waterfall, a nice little lake, and you're just like climbing all day to different, like just climbing so high in like waterfalls. So when we get to the top, it was beautiful, like a nice little like a hot springs, and it was like all like inside like a cave, and it was warm, and like it was a really cool experience being up there and hearing the echo, and like it was just hanging out there for a bit. And then we're all kind of looking out like, wait, how do we get down? Because like how we climbed up aren't really stairs, but it then turned into like a rock slide. So you'd slide down all these rocks that we just had climbed up, because now they're kind of like a slide. So it was super fun. But then we got to the final landing, and it was a 50-foot drop off, and there was no other way down. And so people were terrified, and the locals got a kick out of it, and we're just like pushing people off and be like, like laughing. And I'm like, I don't want you to push me. So I end up just jumping. So I know that I could just do the 40 or the 30-foot drop, but it was high, and it was decently scary, and no life jackets in sight. So I have done it before. It's pretty high. It's pretty high. But that's the thing, though, is I think that I didn't hurt myself or anything like that, because you want to make as little surface to end when you enter the water, right? You want to be as compact as possible. So without having a life jacket on, you can just go and just like kind of pencil jump into the water. So it was actually pretty fine, my experience. But when I'm watching these challengers right now, a lot of them were wearing life jackets. And I think that's why Casey got hurt. Not Casey, sorry, Kendal got hurt, was because she had a life jacket on jumping from 30 feet and having that condition that she says where, her joints, bless you, easily like pop out of socket and stuff like that. I think it's because of the pressure of parts of the life jacket kind of dug into her rib. And so I wonder why they allowed people to jump from so high wearing a life jacket. I think that was very dangerous.
Yeah, that was really odd, because even Darrell didn't jump with a life jacket on. There's a few people I think who didn't, but yeah,
Darrell didn't, Jody didn't, Brad didn't. The people that did well, I think Janelle had a life jacket, but I don't know if she jumped with it. I know she had it with her when she's going from place to place. They all obviously knew that they can't be wearing the life jacket to go dive down and unhook the treasure chest, so they kind of took it off and were using it like a flutter board.
Yeah,
but
there's no point of, I guess obviously it's a safety thing, but there's no point. Like life jackets are not meant to be dived in. Even when you go like diving at the pool, you don't dive with a life jacket on.
No. So I think that was a safety mishap. And I was like, when Kendal jumped, we hear Jody's soundbite being like, oh, that looks like she looked like she hurt herself. Even when I was watching, I was like, oh, like there's something about how she fell looked painful. And I think it's because she wasn't able to make a clean entry with that damn life jacket on.
Yeah, definitely.
And holding goggles.
Yeah, definitely.
Silly. So the teams go. So Latarian and Kendal, they're together. And I thought that they were a good pairing. And I love how Latarian was like hyping up Kendal in their like daily confessional. And she's like, yeah, we're really together on water. And he's like, we're good all the time. And like, I like him being her little hype man, giving her the confidence. It was cute.
That was very nice.
And I just wanted them to do really well. I did. I was like, I wanted her to, the Coach Cooper, to like have said what he needed to say, and she swam back and forth 2 lengths of the pool with holding her breath. Like I wanted that to be a positive outcome, but can never get what I want. So the next team up is Jasmine and Tyler. Tyler, even though he's a fish, and because Cahutta thinks that he has gills behind his ears, he's definitely put on a few pounds since he was last on the season and wasn't as graceful entering the water as he even thought that he might have looked. And then Jasmine went down to the shorter level, if I'm not mistaken, jumped with a life jacket, but did complete the challenge. She did dive down and get all her puzzle pieces, and Tyler winded them all up and they finished the puzzle, but the time wasn't good.
No.
Not at all. Next up is Melinda and Nehemiah. They were actually pretty fast, and I was hoping that they could pull out a win. I was like,
I know
they seem pretty good.
They were great, but yeah, I was like, please win.
Fanta, should we send a petition and just ask them to put the times on the screen?
I
want to know.
Yeah, at the very end. Yeah,
I would love to know. Like, even at Big Brother, when they have like the veto challenge and you see all the different times, like, it can be suspenseful. Anyways, it's so annoying because I want to know how close that they were. I wanted to be like, oh, okay, they're really close. Not like I can't tell. They just weren't as good as the winning team.
I agree. You make the petition, I'll sign it.
All right, change.org coming right your way. Jody and Brad are next, and they were super fast. But this is what I was saying about Jody, is that she does so well, but she doesn't look like she's working that hard. Like, she didn't look like she was stressed, sweating, like going super fast. Like, she's so smooth with how she competes that I guess that she just doesn't suck up any time with flailing. She's just so precise.
She is. She's like dialed in. Like,
she's so good.
Fantastic to watch. Like,
she's like swimming over. I'll just dive down. Like, it's just so smooth. It's impressive. Yeah. Honestly, it's impressive. And her and Brad worked really well together.
Nearly flawless. Like,
and did you notice that she was the one that cranked that when Brad was catching his breath?
So quickly too. And she wasn't even like really struggling that much. I was like, this woman.
Well, Brad's like, I think Jody's at the same age or older than Brad.
Yeah, I think they're probably about the same age.
Yeah, like they're probably like a year younger than me, year or two. Maybe even my age. Anyways, I'm like obsessed with like how good Jody still is. Like, I think it's pretty awesome. Casey and Cahutta are next. Casey goes down to the 15-foot drop. She's done that jump before at the pool, so she felt confident in being able to do it. They weren't too bad, but they weren't too good either.
Yeah.
Ayanna and Tech go next. Tech doesn't really wait and basically jumps on top of Ayanna. I was very scared that there was going to be a medical DQ happening here.
Really? I was watching the water really closely, and I saw that it was like, from the angle that I saw, it was like, I was like, oh no, she's fine.
Well, only because of the reaction of everybody else, right? Everybody's like, oh my God. Like, and then even hitting his confessionally is like, oh my God, I nearly killed my partner. So I just was like, it just was scary that it was just so soon after. And the puddles were like kind of in the splash was the same spot. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it was close.
Scary. So we see Darrell and Janelle. They didn't seem like they were going that fast, but definitely didn't seem to be struggling at all. Janae and MJ were another team that I was like, ooh, working together as a pair. You guys have such good synergy. Interesting.
Show us the hookup.
Show us the hookup. Show us the hookup. Exactly. But I think this is the beginning of the hookups. It's the beginning. Do you think that they're going to start like sleeping in the same bunk bed soon?
It's tough to say. I feel like they would probably have like a chaste like hookup in the night. Because they're both married, right? Or I guess MJ's like single, separated, but John A is married.
I think she's still married at this point, I think. I wonder if it's going to be, because spoiler alert, they're going to be working in these duos, these pairs for the rest of the season. I don't know about the final, but definitely the rest of like the next few dailies. I'm wondering if they're going to bond by how well they work together and strategizing and starting to talk in a more intimate sort of way, you know?
I think so. And I want to see it.
Me too. I love that pairing. Him, like the fact that I know that him and Janae have something going on, he's all of a sudden gotten so much hotter. Like, I'm like, oh my God, he's gotten good looking. Is it because he's like letting her put cane rows in her hair?
Oh my God.
Hilarious. I mean, hopefully the what's it called? What's it called? The when you steal another culture's
appropriation.
Yes, I hope people don't come for him for culturally appropriating Black hair culture, but I like it on him. I think it looks hot. Go MJ. And that was it. So they made a great team. And after this is when TJ announces that this is going to be their partners for the rest of the season. So Tech is all right with having Ayanna as a partner, but he's worried that he might have to deal with multiple sides of Ayanna. I love that he even recognizes that she has like the nice Ayanna and then has like Tiana, that other personality who's scary. Janelle, we see her in another confessional. I'm like, who's this girl? Wow, she's all over our screen this week. Is wishing that Tyler was playing the game a little bit harder so that he got a better partner now that they know that this partner is going to be for the rest of the season. So TJ announces that seconds apart are the first and second players. Were you surprised by the top two?
No.
I
mean, I guess I was like a little bit surprised that like Darrell and Janelle went so fast. I was like, oh, really? Like, I was like, yeah, Nehemiah and Melinda. I was surprised that they weren't in the top two.
I thought it was either going to be Nehemiah and Melinda or MJ and Janae were going to be the second placers. I didn't even think of Darrell and Janelle. So correct. So Brad and Jody, there's a no-brainer. Like they were so smooth. They didn't have any hiccups at all. And they win. So they're going to be having the power. They're the power couple this week. And they're going to now be picking two teams to be going in. And now with the lifesavers in play, that means that whoever has the lifesaver, their teammate will be saved. Or if they choose to save somebody else, also their person's teammate would be saved. So I like that this made it more challenging for Jody and Brad to be choosing who's going to be going in, because with Melinda and Tech being the people that have the lifesavers, that means that 4 people that I don't want to be going in right now are off the board. So you're pumped too.
Yeah, I loved that.
Loved it. I also was like, what's going on in that room? Why Janae had to explain the new rules.
I was just gonna say that. Like they were like so confused, and everyone was like, wow, she's so smart. And I was like, you're literally in this game. Like you need to kind of know what's going on here, fellas.
But like this isn't even complicated.
At all.
At all. It's like your partner's safe.
It's hysterical.
Yes, I definitely was just like, why is she needing to explain like basic challenge strategy to these like very smart, I would say, people? So we see Brad and Jody talking. Obviously, they're going to be fleshing out the lifesavers. So that means they're going to put Tech and Melinda up on the board. And that means Ayanna and Nehemiah are going to eventually be safe. So both the lifesaver people come in and talk with them, and they were not surprised. Melinda, I love her saying like, we're getting close to the end. I want to be here. Obviously, we're going to be saving ourselves and our partners. I would love to see Melinda in a final. Like, no matter how well she does, like, I would like to see a different outcome for her than like going home in her first time going down in elimination every season.
I agree. Absolutely. I want to see Melinda in a final.
Give it to me, please. So they don't really have many other people to choose from. So up for deliberation, it's going to be Latarian and Kendal, because they don't really have that many ties with Kendal, and Latarian is on the other side. And MJ and Jonay, because there's literally no one else left to choose. Because they took the lifesaver holders off the board, that means that they don't even have anybody voting. So MJ and Jonay, but they have the numbers of like 3 teams, I think it is, that were able to do the voting. And so MJ and Jonay are safe-ish. But Jonay is still a little bit worried. So Jasmine does see the board, and she sees that she's either going to be going up against her best friend in the house, Jonay, or Kendal, who is probably one of the top performing females this season. So she's like, oh, great odds here for me. But I thought it was funny. Tell me if you saw this part as well. When Kendal was laying in her bunk bed, and Casey and Jasmine go to talk to her, and she's just talking about how her rib, and that she has a condition where her joints pop out of socket or whatever. It's just a connective tissue disorder of some sort. And so she always is dislocating things. And so she's explaining this, and that one of her ribs were coming out, and that she feels like that she's getting worse and worse. It was fine before, now it's getting worse. And Jasmine's like, I mean, like, you know, what's the word? Like, if you go to the hospital and, you know, you get it checked out and it's fine, that's good. But if you go to the hospital and like you checked out and it's not fine, then you're at least catching it early. And I was like, Jasmine's trying to sound like supportive here, but I think she just like wants her out of the game.
For sure. I totally picked up on that. I was like, okay. Like, she was just in there like a dirty shirt, like, oh my God, like, okay. I was like, get out of here. I mean, it's all a part of the game, right?
It's fine,
like
yes.
It's all a mental thing too.
I just thought it was hysterical. I was like, you're not fooling me, Jasmine. Like, I don't think you care that much about her, like her health and well-being. Like, you don't want anything bad to happen to her, but I think it was more about not going into the arena against her. And if she goes home, maybe you won't have to go in. So Janae was encouraging Jasmine, and I just thought it was like, I like that Jonay feels as though Jasmine has been doing better this season, and like is supportive of her. But I still don't have any faith in Jasmine.
I love Jasmine's personality. It's just it's one of those things where it's like gonna get dusted in that final if she makes it that far.
Oh my God, she's gonna gas out in the first part, probably. But I'd like to see that, to be fair. I want to see how she could do. So Latarian is definitely worried about Kendal. And not because like it's his partner and he has to go in against somebody potentially, but like for her well-being, like he does actually really care about her, which I really like to see. Especially because she had such a hard season, her first season around. So it's nice to know that she has more friends and people looking out for her this season. Me likey. So at the selection process, I don't know what metaphors Latarian's speaking in, but I don't know if I wrote this down incorrectly, but he did say, my heart doesn't pump Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
I guess he just means that, like, you know, I guess he just means that he's not the Kool-Aid man. I'm just kidding. I think what he
the Kool-Aid man would be pretty good though, like bashing through walls. Like it's pretty badass.
I did that have that whole thought. I was like, what does he mean by that? But what I think he means is like, I am human. Like, I'm not just like this big like dude without like feelings and emotions. That's what I took it as. I could be completely wrong. But
has anybody told us here in the chat? Let me scroll down. Yeah. Okay, so like I'm not the Kool-Aid man. I'm a human being. Blood pumps through my veins. Okay. It's just so bizarre. I just said thank you for
that is
giving me a little bit of clarity here, because I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Ooh, Dabu says, though, give Brad and Jody the check. Do you think that's the case? And if that is the case, I do feel like they're both on my team. I'm just saying. Little birdie told me.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
It's all upsetting to me.
Oh, like losing the draft or Brad winning?
If I could have seen how out of shape Tyler was, he wouldn't have been my first pick.
Oh.
Like seeing him jump into the water, I was like, if I knew that, I would not have picked this man.
Yeah, you should like have like people stepping on scales before we do our drafts next time.
I want to see, like, I don't want to see the shoulder up, like the tough guy, like posing that they do, like.
And then like it's like a big stomach.
Yeah, like, excuse me.
False advertising.
Fuck you guys. Rude.
I have him on my other drafts, so I know what you're going through. I thought he was my second guy pick, so I feel you. I definitely feel you. Who's my maybe he might have been my first draft guy pick actually on my other draft, but I was picking third guy, I think. So so I didn't get my number 1 or number 2, which would have been like Darrell or who's my other number 1? Anyways, I can't remember how the order went. So yeah, definitely Jasmine was worried about going in. Janelle was encouraging her. And Jazz just wants to get to a final. And you know what, Jasmine? I want you to get to a final too, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I do not know. So we get to the arena and we call in everybody. And I definitely love how they have the players in the hallways. Like, I think it's badass.
I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with it.
It's so good.
I fucking love it. And I'm always like really excited to see like what they're gonna do in the hallway. And then like Jasmine was like, pick it up, like sand. And I love it. I'm obsessed.
It's so good. I don't know why. Like, I don't care for like MMA fights or anything like that, where I feel like this style of entrance comes from. But like, I love it for the challenge. I love how like Dolby surround sound it is, where like they put like selection and blah, blah, like they really play with the sound, and I love how intense they make it. It's so blockbustery. So I'm into it. I guess is Paramount a blockbuster thing?
Paramount Pictures, yeah.
I guess so. So like they know how to use some sound stuff. I love it. It's like one of my favorite parts of the episode is just seeing them in the hallways.
100%.
So coming into play, obviously, is going to be Tyler and Jasmine. They lost, so they're automatically in. And we know that it's Latarian, so they all come out. And we're waiting for Kendal. And TJ says that Kendal has been taken out of the rest of the game for the season. And Jasmine is safe. So Jasmine is to wait on the sidelines to find out of Tyler and Latarian who was going to be her partner moving forward. If I was Tyler and or Latarian, I'd be like, what?
Great. Do we get to switch again at any point?
I guess I'll have to go down again if I want to get a new partner, like, and hope that it's like separate eliminations.
Yeah.
Oh. Justin says, did you hear that Kendal got COVID by a production member and that's why she left? I did hear that somebody wasn't coming back from like a second quarantine or something like that due to COVID. I didn't know that this is how it all played out, though. I didn't understand how it was going to work out. That makes a little bit of sense. That sucks. If it was COVID, oh, that sucks. Hi, Jelly. Did you hear that Kylan? I did see that. Are you mad, Fanta? Kylan is likely to be on 38. He is literally going to be a Fessy 2.0. They're already hanging out. Filming begins in March now. I did see them at Hearts of Reality all together. No, I'm not happy.
I'm not happy about it either, but also I just don't think Kylan's gonna do very well. So it's kind of just like
yeah, let's like make them suck.
Like it's not very scary to me.
No. So Justin says Jody needs to go on the main show. She's stronger than every female and some of the males of the current season. Yes, I think that if she wanted to, it's the length of time for filming. It's like at least 4 months. That's what it was. I just heard it was a 4-month filming. That's a long time to be taken out away from your family, especially if you have a job, you have a family. It's just a little bit too long. These 3 weeks, whatever it is for Allstars, is a bite-sized amount that these older players can do. It's not their job. You know, it's the new school people, this is their job. So
Yeah.
they can spend 8 months of the year doing 2 seasons back to back and make their 150 grand or whatever it is they'd make. But people that have jobs and families, this is a side job. So
Sure.
but I would be very happy to see Jody come back there. They need some more competitive females on the main season. Actually, they need even Brad can go back at this point. I don't fucking care.
People just have like more personality. Like they're just more interesting to watch.
Hi, Adrienne. Oh, also loved Kendal's kids, including Coach Cooper. I love when a parent's kid is so supportive and motivating for their parents. I know I got a little bit teary-eyed because it's just like it's just all so much love, you know, and it's like, and the son is probably like rooting for his mom so much, and like she came back because they were so devastated when she was eliminated right before the final when they were watching it together, and like I like seeing the motivation from her children and like that family unit. It's so sweet. I agree. What's happening here? February 2nd, Boston cast reveal. I'm not sure what that's for. Skip through. Okay, so getting to this final arena before we close things down. It was a pole wrestle, and the only thing different about this pole wrestle was it is an irregular shaped pole. What do you think about this as an elimination? And do you think it would have been the same elimination if Kendal was able to participate?
Yeah, I think so. Why do you think they would have changed it?
Well, I was thinking that maybe they had something else planned, and when they weren't going to have that particular, like maybe it was like a something that they did together. You know what I mean? Like you did it with your partner, your pair. And so maybe when Kendal's not coming back, okay, it's going to be solo, and so let's just give it something to the men that they can do that would be size-wise they're well matched up.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe that was the case. I mean it would have been very interesting to see Kendal versus
who would have won?
Kendal versus Jasmine. I can't even say it because it's just so absurd. For
like when Jasmine might be a little bit scrappy though, you never know.
She would be, but like, I
guess picture like her picking her up. Like
that's exactly what I thought. I was like, she would just get tossed around. I was picturing it. I was like, oh, I can't. It makes me uncomfortable to see like little people get tossed about on the challenge.
Well, even big people, because Latarian and like they were using that surround sound like effects where I felt like everything was shaking when he was just like boom, and like gigantic Tyler was just like reverberating on the ground.
Well, and it was also who was saying it? Casey was like, you could feel it.
I think it was Jazz that was saying it.
Oh, Jasmine, sorry, because she was actually down there, but like you could feel it. That was like, that was horrible to watch. He got destroyed, and then It was crazy as he was like talking in the confessional, like towards the end of it, and then he like lifts his hand up a little bit, and it's like all bandaged up, and I was like, oh my god, no, poor Tyler.
I mean, he did say after though that like he thought the battle was epic. So, I mean, he lasted a long time, but he just got like demolished for a long time. He never had an upper hand in that battle. Like he was always holding on. Remember we were saying this, like, you don't want to be holding on to the pole. You want to be trying to take the pole away. And that's, he allows his opponent to have the upper hand because the opponent is trying to take away from you and you're just trying to hold on to it. And so eventually they're going to take it away from you. So he didn't have the strategy there, unfortunately.
Yeah. I like Laterian is just insane. Like he's
so hot, eh?
He's like a what? Did you just ask me if he was hot?
He got hot this episode. I was like, this is weird.
Not what I was gonna say. Chantele, so thirsty. He's really fucking hot, right? That's what you're gonna say. No, actually, I was gonna talk a little pole wrestling strategy, but
okay, go.
Yeah, but that would be so. I would be terrified to ever go against Laterian in a pole wrestle. Terrified.
Yeah, no, I mean that would not be
just slam you like, and that's the thing. Like Tyler is not a small guy; he's a big guy.
He's like probably like 250 pounds, probably.
And smash him. I'm still not over this. This is fucking crazy.
No, it was very uncomfortable to watch. And like, but I just was happy that Tyler was like, it was epic, right? As he's like seeing stars. Now TJ though, when he was leaving, he was kind of like, you're a great competitor, so happy to be here. But he didn't say like, we'll see you in the future. And I was like,
I caught that too. And I always wonder, like, in general, like what makes TJ be like, he'll say that to somebody for sure versus not, because at the end of the day, like, it's not really his decision.
Well, but Tyler was an alternate until Johnny Bananas wasn't going to be on the season, and then he's on the main show. So maybe TJ does know who the production wants to have back.
I think so.
And maybe he says that to people that production wants to have back for sure, to keep their ears open for the phone call. And he kind of gave Tyler like a maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think like it's, again, kind of one of those things like Tyler needs to get in shape.
Yep. Like, well, he's back next season. So let's see if he's put some work, because he's going against monsters next season.
Yeah. I hope that he gets in shape, because he can really like get back to his like glory days. But
he can. I think he can, because he's muscle memory, right? Like if he worked out for 2 months straight, like he would get back into proper shape. I don't think he realized how competitive it was going to actually be. He probably thought it was going to be a little more chill, a little more summer campy. And so now knowing that he can actually win a lot of money, like I think he's going to take it a little more seriously. I have to mention though, music during that pole wrestle, too legit to quit. Hey, I'm like, thank you. Like I didn't think I'd ever hear that song again, and now I have, and I'm very glad that I did.
It was very like, it was just quite a juxtaposition to be hearing that song and just watching somebody like
not quit,
body slammed. But also there was another song that played, Push by Matchbox 20.
I don't remember how it goes, but yes.
It was like, I wanna push you around. I think that was the song that played. I'm not 100%, but there was another song that played, and I was like, ay.
Poor Tyler. And that's pretty much it though for this episode. What do you think? The last thing that happened, which I thought was hilarious, was like, we see Laterra beating his chest, and like, and then he hears a goat, and he's like, was that a goat?
Oh, yes. That was so funny, because he's just like dripping so intense. And I just love how, like, that is just like, that's Allstars, right? That's Allstars. Like, it's intense, but then it's just like so funny and like goofy, and just like, it's so light and just lovely to watch.
So Deboo says here, this is interesting. So Casey got rid of Derrick, but now she's working with his friends. What do you think about that comment?
I mean, yeah, like Casey's a strategist. And I think that
she works with whoever's going to be beneficial for her game.
It's going to be beneficial for her. And I just don't really think that she necessarily, nobody knew that they would be with that person for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I think that had people, they would have picked differently.
Mm-hmm. For half the people, yeah, for sure.
Not everybody, but like I think for quite a few people, they would have been like, oh, I'll pick somebody else. I think Casey, if she knew, I think she would have picked somebody else.
So speaking of truth says, my heart don't pump Kool-Aid basically means I'm not scared of anything. Okay.
I've never heard that term. Ever.
Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, Gamer kind of confirmed that Kendal left due to COVID. Oh, that sucks. COVID? Annoying. This elimination at least is fair. Both men have size. It isn't Fessy versus Jordan, absolutely, or Amber versus Amber M. Like I if it's going to be these types of brawls, I want them to be evenly matched size-wise, so I don't feel like somebody's going to die. The main show could have all-star level dynamics if they just built on their promising rookies. Yeah, they don't want to put in the work.
They really bungled that. They had like World of Worlds 1. Oh my god, what an amazing rookies cast, and like none of them are back, and it's crazy. Like just so chocked full of like personality, like people who aren't afraid to make big moves. It's really bizarre what they've done.
Oh my god, Adrian, yes, absolutely. I was wincing and cringing, but like I love the too legit to quit. Hey, I did dance for that moment when it came on, but like I was like this watching it. I was like, yeah, definitely wincing and cringing, 100%. Any last comments here before we say sayonara? So nobody caught in A Tribe Called Trust drop. When? I didn't notice it. I'm sorry. Time for a draft update. Ooh. Do I have it in this book?
I've got.
If I have it in this book.
I've got my handy dandy.
We do know. I do know that Fanta did lose 2 players. So Fanta has both Tyler and Kendal. So I know that you're down to...
I'm down to Cahutta, Nehemiah, and Melinda and Casey. So I have 4 people left. Cahutta, Nehemiah, Melinda and Casey. Michelle has Ayanna, Janelle, Tech, MJ, and Darrell. It's a pretty good team. And you have Brad, Jasmine, Jody, Johnny, Latarian. My team stinks.
I'm sorry, your team is not going to be winning this one, I don't think.
It's nobody's fault but my own.
I mean, I think it was a fair thing to want to have Kendal on your team and to want to have Tyler on your team. Absolutely. They would be people. Tyler's won back-to-back challenges. Like it makes sense for you want to pick him. And it makes sense for you want to pick Kendal. She showed last season that she's a pretty awesome competitor. We did not anticipate her going out by COVID. Is Michelle winning? It's possible. Michelle, possible. It's me or Michelle. Probably.
It's definitely between the 2 of you.
Yes.
Because Jody, you know.
Yes, Sophie, it does look like I could win this little draft. It is possible. You know, you got to also realize because I haven't won, I also get to have like the worst picking positions. So just saying. But I mean, I don't mind losing to you guys. It's all in good fun, no matter what. So anything else you want to say about this episode that we forgot about? Did we catch everything? Well, amazing. Well, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, hold tight.
I'm not sure what we're gonna do next week because it's gonna be Christmas Eve, but I know I'm not celebrating, so I don't know what's the dealios. So we'll figure out if we're gonna be coming live next week or not, or if we're gonna do it another day, or we'll see. We'll have to figure it out. So next week will definitely be an irregular week. I'm not sure if we'll do the reunion part 1 on Wednesday or not. So you're going to have to kind of keep on your toes. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know when we go live. And I'll do a post of next week's schedule in the community for YouTube, just so everybody can have an idea when we will go live once we decide what will be best for everything. A lot of War of the Worlds, one rookie self-destructed. D, Maddie, Bear, Theo has eye issues. That's true, but like they brought in like 18 new rookies this year. Like, are we going to see any of them again? I don't know.
There's also like cast better rookies.
Cast better rookies so that Michelle and Michaela and Tommy would have a leg to stand on and be able to compete against the stupid vet alliance. They better not have another vet alliance or I'm going to be pissed. I can't deal with it. That's why they need to have a Wes come in there because like Wes utilizes the rookies. And so like he would have built some sort of faction against. Do you think that he would have, maybe he would have just coasted like CT? Actually, I don't know. I don't know what he would have done, but I want an opposition. Oh, that'd be so great. Anyways, I love you guys. Happy holidays. If we don't see you next week, I guess leave in the chat. I don't know, leave in the chat when you would want to talk about these episodes. If you want to just like figure out a time next week, or do you think the week after would be better? I don't know. Tell us about something about that. And what else do you want to know, Fanta? Nothing. Okay, bye guys. Thank you.